Good evening, ladies and gents. My name is Hilso, the bearded Balkan blabbermouth, and I'm DiscussThing. Today I am kinda sad because there's some new information regarding CD Projekt Red and The Witcher 4 that was just presented today, which we'll go through in this video. But the thing that I'm sad about is that this information piling on top of the other information that we already know about CD Projekt Red in the recent times and with the developer of Witcher 4 just keeps on adding to a very troubling behavior that we have already seen before from other companies that have ultimately failed in their endeavors. And it would seem that CD Projekt Red has taken the same road and heading right for the cliff that would eventually lead them to ultimate failure and a lot of financial loss. So I first saw this post from Permaband today who says it looks like the whole news of a lot of CDPR devs leaving CDPR is not just real, but it's practically Exodus levels of leaving Ship of Theseus in action. The director for Witcher 3 Wild Hunt has even opened his own studio now named Rebel Wolves. Now Rebel Wolves, I think they opened earlier this year, or I think even last year, after some much controversy regarding the CEO that they accused him of bullying, which was later debunked, I think, but it ultimately led him to leave the company and start his own studio. I will go over their website in a bit. What I want to read here is the conclusion that this again does not fill me with optimism for Witcher 4. When has CDPR ever failed us in the writing, and have faith in the CDPR counter argument. I personally question how much of the writing team is CDPR as we actually know them. And yeah, a lot of the original team for the Witcher games and on CD Projekt Red as a whole has been living in droves from the company and has either started their own companies or just moving on to something else. And what I saw is an article by SmashJT. I also watched his video. I highly recommend you visit his website smashjt.com and his channel SmashJT, because this is someone that I personally find as very reputable and very on point as a source, as he usually gets as much information as possible before he says anything on the matter, and he doesn't just spout articles for clicks or whatever. And in this article he says, as if the trailer for The Witcher 4 didn't expose the reality to everyone already, the once incredibly celebrated studio of CD Projekt Red now finds themselves in an all too familiar position these days with many other major AAA studios. Huge waves of many of the most important developers have decided to leave CDPR and instead from their own alliances new studio. All because they're sick and tired of the woke ideologies being forced upon them at their workplace. We see here a lot of the images that we saw. We see the logo for Rebel Wolves, and I just want to mention some Rebel Wolves. Now Geralt is the white wolf, and just having a Rebel Wolves as Geralt is somewhat of a rebel, an outcast, and so on, and doesn't play by society's rules. I personally think that Rebel Wolves is a very good chosen name to have that, as to rebel against the absolute horrible narrative, and you are a wolf. The most significant blow to CDPR's roster came with the formation of Rebel Wolves, spearheaded by Konrad Tomaskiewicz, the former director of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This new studio was formed directly as a result of CDPR's recent incompetence of leadership. We see here the CEO Konrad Tomaskiewicz. Sorry, I am Eastern European, but some of the Polish names do bring me a lot of hardships as well, so I apologize if I mispronounce any names just in advance. You have also the art director, who has been in the industry for 17 years, and he was the art director for The Witcher 3. You have basically two of the main people for one of the most successful games in history starting their own studio, just going against CDPR and just deciding to do things their way. And this is the image from their website. Rebel Wolves is a new studio, but our team has years of experience working on some of the most critically acclaimed video games of all times. We co-created titles such as Witcher 3, Cyberpunk 2077, and many others. We decided to create our own studio and run it on our own terms. This is very telling, on our own terms. They don't want to be bossed around by people who have no idea about video game creation and just want to push a narrative. Chief among them, the team comes first always. Exactly. Happy people make great games. Exactly. Games players want and deserve. Yes, it's simple as that. It is simple as that, and that's what me and all the other channels have been saying for a very long time now. Make games that people want to play, and that's what they're on a mission to do so. They continue, we want to create amazing virtual worlds filled to the brim with powerful emotion and unique experiences. Most of all, we want to share our boundless passion for video games. We know what players love because we're players ourselves. Exactly. You need people who are deep in this. You need players, you need gamers, you need people who know what elements of a video game are the most effective and what needs to be in a video game to provide you that unique emotion that you can get from playing the video game. And here we go to their website as a whole. Their mission is something that I truly enjoyed reading. We want to do two things. Sounds modest? Well, keep reading. One is to revolutionize the RPG genre. We love these games, we've been playing and making them for decades, and now we want to take them a step further. Our titles will be quality driven and innovative. We don't want to create another game, we want to create the game. We are expert in our respective fields, confident in our abilities, and wildly passionate about what we do. Second is to create a studios where developers can thrive, united by a common goal and a sense of camaraderie. Our priority is the team, and the team's priority is to create the best RPG games the world has seen. Ambitious? Watch us. First of all, I love the vibe of that message. I love how they're confident that they're gonna succeed. They're like, you know we can do it. You just have to watch us. And they have three values that I do appreciate. And I know that someone will look at these values and one of them will strike a bit of a nerve, which is the second one, which says we want to create a space where diverse developers come together and create something that's bigger than the sum of its parts. And I know that diverse is a word that is an instant red flag nowadays. But what I think that they mean here is that they want to get people in diverse fields of different game genres to come together and to create something very good with their respective specialized fields, not that they're diverse and, you know, in that other sense. Back to the article by Smash JT, there's another company that has been created by other members of former CDPR, which is called Blank Studios, which is a parallel to Rebel Wolves, and it has also emerged from the ashes of CDPR's talent pool, formed by Mateusz Kanik, who was both the game director for Cyberpunk 2077 and co-game creator for The Witcher 3. So another very major figure who needed to be involved in The Witcher 4, alongside executive producers Jedrzej Mróz and Marcin Yefimal. I'm sorry once again for the names. Blank aims to redefine game development. This is their logo. Logo looks very nice. It looks a little bit unhinged in the way that it offers unlimited perspective. They're creating a studio with a philosophy rooted in collaboration over individual dictatorship, work-life balance over crunch culture, and quality over quantity. Basically anything but woke. And yeah, one of the things that woke companies and the companies that have been infested with the DEI and the narrative have been doing, and is just pump out as much product as possible in order to spread every corner of gaming with their message, and just pump out unfinished games, bad games, horribly looking games, and just buggy products of any sort, just in order to push their agenda faster and faster. They don't care about if the game is quality, they just want to have it there and to push it into the throats of the people who are supposed to buy it. Smash continues, Kanek left CDPR after a 15-year tenure. The reason tired of being politically correct. He highlighted the studio's mission to create games that aren't just bigger, but better in terms of emotional impact, storytelling, and craftsmanship. So another person who just doesn't want to be overly politically correct in this day and age. He just doesn't want to go through the motions of constantly being careful what to say, how to say it, and just using the correct terms and creating the correct and the appropriate games. It was also announced that in November 2023, Blank has secured $17 million in investment from Newiz, which is the South Korean game company best known for Lies of p, and 70 million is not a too shabby of a sum, because we know that you don't actually need that much money as most of the AAA companies are spending on the games. If you remember Stellar Blade, Black Myth: Wukong games that are both under $100 million, and they look amazing, they play amazing, and they're just an absolute joy to play, whereas games like Dragon Age the Valkyr, Star Wars Outlaws are in the heights of $200 million each, which is still an estimate because we don't have the official numbers, but that is around the range that usually such AAA games work. We continue with the underlying issues. The ongoing mass exodus from CDPR points to more than just professional disagreements or career moves. It speaks to a gigantic cultural shift happening as we speak within the studio that many of these department talents found unbearable anymore. Reports from former employees have suggested that the studio's environment had become far too saturated with what they allude to as excessive wokeness. That's a very good and very correct term, where ideological alignments overshadowed their creative freedoms. The next segment, what lies ahead of CDPR, is very nice. For CDPR, the constant and ongoing loss of pivotal figures is foreshadowing for the declining creative output and significant pivot in their entire development culture. And I just want to say something. We were talking several videos ago, and I had mentioned it in one of my videos, and I know that other YouTubers have mentioned that it will be soon when the AAA companies do fall inevitably. Either they get sold, they get closed, they just go bankrupt or whatever. But it's not going to be far along now, because they refuse to get back to what made them great in the first place, and they just covet the fast money that they're earning by catering to wokeness and to the message and to those consultancy companies that do seem to be more and more involved in them. And from the ashes of these companies, even before they're fully burned down, just like CD Projekt Red, new companies do arise with very well set goals, with goals that the people who formed them now had when they started in the previous company all those years ago. Rebel Wolves is exactly what CD Projekt Red was in the beginning, a smaller studio with the one vision as a whole, to just do great games and to be innovative and to do more and more for gamers and to have gamers experience a truly groundbreaking technology and storytelling by this company. So Rebel Wolves is basically what CDPR should be, and we will see what they will produce as a game. But from what I see currently from the people that are involved there, I know that they're gonna do something interesting, and at least they'll have the support of the gaming community, which is the best thing you can have. The article continues: as these new studios begin to lay down their markers in the gaming landscape, I'll be watching closely to see what comes from it. You and I and everyone around us will do. Will Rebel Wolves and Blank redefine what it means to make RPGs in the modern era? We can dream, and dream big, yes. And he finishes: CD Projekt Red is cooked, yes it is. But ingredients from their original success are at least now being found elsewhere at other new studios, used for something entirely new for all of us in gaming world to enjoy. And in that, there's hope for the future. Exactly. That's what we can do. Gaming is like the cycle of life. Sometimes you get thorns, you get fires that burn down a lot of what was once good, but from the fire and from the ashes, new things arise and spread out in a renewed fashion, further and bigger than before. That's how the cycle of life continues in nature, and that's how everything continues to go and evolve. And we see that the thorns that are the DEI in Woke have destroyed a lot of those AAA companies. However, from those, we see that new companies will arise, will start to grow, and will develop better and what I suspect much more interesting games than anything that a current AAA company can produce. At the same time that I know that this is going to happen, it also makes me sad, because in the past several videos I did defend Witcher 4 based on the trailer as a whole and as some of the information that was being discussed online, because as I mentioned, they're always going to either one end or the other, and nobody's going to the center to see and disseminate the information exactly as it is. And while I am hopeful still that the game will be good, and I do hope to see gameplay footage soon, my enthusiasm is starting to wane very, very rapidly with each next article that comes out and just reveals what has been happening with the company, with the things that they're saying, with what they're trying to push over to the gamers to say that we're gonna do that now, it's different now, we want to focus on the new players, as there was one article about that. And all these things kind of stomp the flame that I have inside for Witcher 4, and I'm afraid that the game is actually going to be very good, but all those news and all those questionable tactics that CDPR is doing now will kill the enthusiasm even before the game is released, which is very, very bad for a game, because even if a game is good, if the marketing for it is abhorrent, and if the people have already desensitized and just don't feel the hype anymore, it won't matter how good you have made the game. That's why you need to cater, you need to have a good marketing strategy, and you need to know what your audience and your client base want to hear and want to know, which also means that the people involved in this have to also be gamers and have to basically speak the language in the best way possible. We'll see what's gonna happen with the CD Projekt Red. The things are not looking great, that's for sure. They're headed towards a cliff of failure, and it seems to be that they're in full speed without any brakes and without any seatbelts. So unless they do something to course correct, the next few articles will just solidify their fate, and nobody will be able to even feel the sort of hype that you need to feel for a game of the rank of a Witcher game. And that will at least cut the potential audience and the potential player base at least in half, if not more. And I do hope that they actually turn around and prove everyone wrong. And I do hope that they do have some glory left in them and do have some vision to cater to gamers and to provide the best gaming experience like they have done in the past. I do hope that will happen, although it would seem that it's not very likely. We just have to wait and see. Anyways, that's all I have for this video today. Thank you for watching this far if you did. If you enjoyed my content and you want to watch more, click the like, subscribe button, share this video if we want to spread the message of the DiscussThing. Press the join button if you want to become a member of the channel and help me grow on YouTube directly. And if you want to help homeless animals and animals in shelters, press the Patreon link down in the description below and become a member patron there. 100% of the proceeds go to helping homeless animals and animals in shelters. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Helzo, this was DiscussThing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers and stay fresh.